are here on Real Estate in the Lowcountry. Joining me is Natalia Chandler, and she is a real estate attorney with Butler College in Bluffton, and we're going to get to that in just a minute. But Natalia, it's your first time here, so welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. I moved down to the Lowcountry about 7 years ago with my husband, and we live in Bluffton, and we just had our first baby 6 months ago. So baby girl.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Baby girl Emerson. He is actually a property manager, and he was on the show a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, right. Yep.
So power couple team over here. But so we moved down here, and I used to litigate, and now I'm in real estate, and I love it, and I've never looked back to litigation ever again.
I heard that from a lot of attorneys, including my mom, who was an attorney in Michigan doing family law, and moved down here and did what you did. Now she's retired, but got more into real estate. So obviously this is a great place to focus on real estate. There's a lot of transactions going on all the time. Obviously there's investment properties, but of course there's a lot of personal transactions, and those are things that people need to be walked through. So talk to us a little bit about how Butler College handles your clients and how you take them through that process.
Sure. So we like to think of ourselves as the law firm that understands you. We're everyday people as well. We have families and lives, and we understand that buying, selling, purchasing, HELOCs, which is home equity lines of credit, refinances, those things, while they're also very exciting, could also be very stressful.
Right.
So we're there to help the clients through every step of the process, from the contract to reviewing the title, getting them through those sometimes repair requests, things of that nature, to make sure that we're the least of the problems, because they have to think about movers, they have to think about packing up their kids' stuff, enrolling kids into school. There's so many hundreds of other things going on in their lives. So we want to be kind of in the background, making sure that they're not stressed about the legal process and guiding them as needed throughout it.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, obviously, the more you can take stress off of somebody in those big lifetime decisions and circumstances is great. So tell us a little bit about, let's look at it, first of all, from like the buyer's perspective. What are the things that you see that people get most hung up on, or that they need the most guidance through?
Definitely just kind of the timeline of the process, because once you do go under contract, typically it's 30 to 60 days, sometimes longer, and it's all happening fast. So, they have to get in touch with the lender, they have to get in touch with insurance agents. So we try to also, give recommendations as required or necessary, but also just guide them through the timeline of when we get involved and step in. So that will be during the matching process with their lender. So we have to explain that to people a lot, because it's something that, sometimes people, the last time they had a loan was 20 years ago, and things have changed.
Sure.
So we help them guide through that part, and also the big part is obviously all of the funds and the escrow and wiring the final number to us. We are very, very diligent on making sure people understand wiring and wiring instructions and confirming those, given the fraud that's out there. So that's really a huge part of our job. And also, I think something that kind of bypassed was title, making sure that there are no problems with the property, no delinquent taxes, no delinquent liens, no mortgages. So that's part of our job, is researching that title, making sure that it's clear.
Yeah.
If there are issues, our job is to problem solve, figure out those issues, spot the issues, and then propose the solutions and work on that on the back end. And of course, keep the client informed every step of the way.
Yeah.
We don't like to alert and freak the client out. We like to tell them, this is an issue we found, here is our proposed solution, this is how we're gonna get it fixed.
Yeah.
Of course, if there are issues that are larger with title, then we have to have those tougher conversations. But that's why we're there throughout this process, is to guide our clients.
Yeah. Well, and as you mentioned, obviously title is so critical. And if you are trying to do this on your own, that's probably not something you would know how to research.
Exactly. So that's why South Carolina is an attorney state. You have to have an attorney facilitate the closing. So I am at the closing table, I am reviewing the title, I am reviewing the deed, and that's really essential. And it kind of differs from other states, because other states aren't attorney states. So some clients will say, well, in another state I used a title company. Very similar to what we do, but I think there's that added layer of it being an attorney that can review the contract, that can draft a post-occupancy agreement. There's a lot of other things that we can help our clients in to kind of make the process smoother.
Yeah, and I think I want to go back to something you said that's really important, that you're sitting at the table. So if they're dealing with you, they're dealing with you all the way throughout the entire process.
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
So I love also dealing with clients before they enter the contract, because in South Carolina, the real estate agents will work on the contract portion of things. And then once the contract's fully executed, it gets to our office. But I love fostering those close relationships with real estate agents because I can help guide through the contract process, because that's what we're ultimately bound to by the time we're at the closing. So if there's weird verbiage or contingencies, I love working really closely with agents to make sure we have the language we want in there before everything's signed and executed.
Okay, well, Natalia, we're out of time, but I have so many more questions, so you're going to have to come back so we can
for
get
sure.
to all of those. But thanks for being here today.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.